We're back. Here we are. Ah, dear me. Yes, no live stream last week. A lot of people were messaging me saying, why is there no live stream? If only I'd mentioned it a few times that we were all going out and meeting up for a beer on September the 19th in Redcar for something called Redcarmageddon. If only I'd mentioned that on the live stream a few times. You know, that would have been a good idea, wouldn't it? Oh, perhaps I did. But anyway, we're back now. Yes, it was absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everyone that turned up. Thank you for coming and having a beer and a curry with me. You know who you are. You're all chatting about it in the chat, I see. Yes, but you know, we're all normal service has been resumed, and as such, let's see who was first in this week. We got Amadeus first through the door, then David James, then Paul Trainer, then Theme Tunes, then Autogeddon 1, Dave Fiendish is in, and we've got Peter Collins, Frank Borlam, Francis Chambers, Cylon Hybrid, and what are you saying there, Cylon Hybrid? Hello, let's put you up on screen. Hello, chaps. Hope you had you all good or been good. When I checked my phone Saturday, it said news in Redcar cordoned off by police not far from the place you was at. I thought, what? Yeah, well, that's just kind of normal for Redcar. It's a rare day that you don't hear sirens screaming about all over the place. Anyway, who else have we got? We got Vincent Brennan, Ben Allmark, John Ross is in, so is Malcolm Spillett. Balder 64 sitting in Glasgow International Departures, heading to the Black Sea for 2 weeks. So we'll catch up after the event. Have a good 59 minutes of low-quality old duffer chat. Well, why would we deviate from that, mate? There's Rubbish Guitar Bloke, Chip Young. Pablo Hank is in, so is Craig Stamen. And Graham Triple X. Joe McMurray is in, so is Johnny Random. Chip Young is there, so is Ingrid, Stephen Hedger, Jimmy James, John Channing, and Anton. Grandpa Joe is in. He's travelling today and listening in. As a reminder, consider John's, I think you meant to say John's Patreon, but typing whilst on the move with your thumbs is not the easiest thing. I can attest to that. We got Peter S. Bottleneck Bob. Long time no see. Well, it was last week when I saw you. You know, in the pub and the curry house, but it's a long time no see on here, mate. Welcome back. There's Jack Collins, and he's Grandpa Joe's full message. Hello, John and Fatacasters. I'm listening in while travelling. However, consider joining John's Patreon and enjoy the perks in his Zoom chat with fellow Fatacasters. Thank you very much, Joe. My marketing manager there. The check's in the post. There's Johnny D. Paul Trainer BSc, regular as clockwork. Chucks a couple of quid in the tip jar. Thank you so much. Robin Fawcett is in. So is Doc Alders. Nice to see you last week, mate. You and your good lady Helen. Nice to put some faces to names that you know, I only ever kind of see in a little corner of the screen on a Friday kind of beer stream. Anyway, who else? We got Austin Barrett, the Essex Cat, Gordo Canuck, Cal B and the Rocco Cat. And who else? We've got Cal Texper. We got Blue Sofa Songs, who would have been here last week, but he's off to Australia soon, so that's saving the pennies. Well, why not, mate? And who else have we got? We've got, let's have a look. Let's scroll down a wee bit past all the kind of all the chattering that's going on. Peter Hall is there, so is William Forrest. Colin Falcon, 60s man, is in, as is Gary Shaw, session guitar legend, and Dr. Gomez. Martin Scholes is there, and Triple Distilled. We've got Jeff Benner, we've got Jay Aoyong, Thomas Mulvaney, and Mr. Chris is in as well. We got Addis Bubba. Ardis Bubba, I do beg your pardon, and Malcolm Spillett back again to say hello. Have you been out and come back again, mate? Jerry White is in. Who else have we got? Let's have a wee look. Nick Shaw, Ken McGurr, and Adrian Laws. Again, there's Strumming Ronin and Rexamatic, who says he had a great time in Redcar. Rex is from Phoenix, Arizona, as he may have mentioned in, well, I think we all know that, don't we? Came all the way to Redcar from Phoenix, Arizona, just to have beer and curry. And I did insist that, you know, you cannot leave these shores. You cannot possibly go back home to Arizona without sampling the great British delight that is the Greg's sausage roll. And reportedly, he enjoyed it. Or maybe he was just being polite. Mr. Chris, you are generous, sir. Thank you so much, mate. That's very, very kind of you. A couple of quid more in the tip jar. And who else have we got? I think, Chris Otterwell, who's on the M25 in a traffic jam, listening only. And after all of that, I haven't even had a beer yet, so I'm going to remedy that right now. I'm afraid, on the dishwater, the Carlsberg green stuff. When you only drink on a weekend, even this is a treat these days. That's right, folks. I've cut out the midweek drinking. Not because of doctor's orders or anything like that. Well, sort of preemptive, really. It was just before it becomes doctor's orders. I thought I'd better kind of be sensible, because I was looking at... when I was taking the recycling out, I was looking at the blue recycling bin and thinking, oh dear me, yeah, that's when you see all the empties all in one place, it does look a little bit suspicious. So I thought, right, I'll dial it back a bit. And as I say, this stuff, just the regular green Carlsberg, 3.4%. Normally, I wouldn't even entertain that, even just a few weeks ago. But when it's only a weekend treat, it's still a weekend treat. So there you go. Anyway, better tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. On Sunday, we have got a rather nice Yamaha Pacifica. We tend to think of the Yamaha Pacifica as being the king of the budget guitars, don't we? It's, if you've got a friend that doesn't play the guitar and they're wanting a beginner's electric guitar and they're asking what they should get, the safe bet is always to tell them to get a Yamaha Pacifica, and they won't go far wrong. Well, it's often overlooked that there are slightly, well, in many cases, very much more high-end models than that humble Pacifica 112, and we're going to be looking at one of those on Sunday. A very kind chap called Adrian drove a heck of a long way, not quite the same distance as coming from Phoenix, Arizona, it has to be said, but he did drive quite a considerable distance to come and let me have a little bit of a play with his Yamaha Pacifica. And, well, you'll see what it is and what it's all about and what I think of it and everything on Sunday. The usual kind of review video that I do where we hear it in a mix, weights and measures, neck profile, all that sort of stuff. We're going to be taking a little bit of a look at that on Sunday. Then on Monday, as usual, it's a lead guitar lesson of some description. I did start this series of Monday lead guitar lessons offers. One week I'm going to do blues, the next week I'm going to do melodic rock and alternate, but now it's just kind of merged into one, as I think I probably predicted that it would. And this week, the topic under consideration is that sort of lovely lyrical Hendrixy, Curtis Mayfield is probably the best description of it. But that kind of chordal lead playing, or is it lead rhythm or is it rhythm lead playing? It's kind of straddles both, and we're going to be looking at that on Monday. Tuesday is a top 5 list, and I'm going to be talking about underrated guitarists. It caused quite a bit of a stir when I did a couple of videos about overrated bands and overrated guitarists. People do get rather hot under the collar, don't they, when you express an opinion, especially if it's an opinion they don't like. And some people just don't like the fact that that you express an opinion. Even if they do like it, it's a pointless exercise, and gets a lot of people upset. But it also gets me a lot of clicks, and that essentially kind of pays the bills at the end of the month. But this week, it'll probably get some wrath off somebody. I'm talking about underrated guitar players, and yes, some of them may be known to you. There's one or two probably won't be. Anyway, that's Tuesday's video. Wednesday's video, it's another one in the current series of rhythm things, basically, where I'm talking about how to read rhythm notation, how to count rhythms, how to use rhythms, how to understand rhythms. And we're talking about the probably one of the most important rhythms or rhythmic devices in rock music, the push. If you don't know what a rhythmic push is, well, yes, if you have a double entendre kind of mind, you could misread that, couldn't you? But you're going to find out exactly what a rhythmic push is on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, just one of these kind of things where I'm kind of babbling on a bit, really, about a topic that's on my mind. The best way to learn to play the guitar. Is it best to be self-taught, or is it best to take lessons? And that's what we're going to be debating on Thursday. And, well, that's the week coming up on the channel. And something for everyone, I would say. Anyway, let's get some more lubricant down. And that calls for a refill. You know, this stuff does glide down rather effortlessly, it has to be said. As I say, I don't know whether it's just because Monday night, Vimto, Tuesday night, Vimto, Wednesday night, Vimto, Thursday night, possibly Vimto. Depends what sort of day I've had on the Thursday, but usually it's Vimto. And then Friday, it's hello, time to crack one open. And I just have. Right, let's get the lungs woken up while I have a look at the chat. There we go. Let's scroll back up. I see we've got Macaroon in. Nice to see you, mate. And Budget Pedal Chap is in. And Strumming Ronin, dig those flags. Yes, I just needed something to put on the back wall now that that backdrop of that knackered old sofa bed isn't there anymore. Peter Collins is saying, our empties go in a brown bin here. Me and the missus call it the bin of shame as it's full to the brim on collection days. Yeah, at least, you know, there's two of you working out. My missus doesn't drink. She didn't make a decision to become teetotal. She just had one catastrophic hangover too many. And then she wasn't like really like me, like a professional, a regular, you know. She just used to kind of have a few Baileys or a gin and tonic every now and again. And, you know, there was this, she went out for a girls' night out with one of her friends. And the next day she was asking me to call the vet and tell them to bring the humane killer. She felt that rough and she hasn't touched the drops. Occasionally, Christmas time, she'll have a Baileys, but that's about it. And so I got to own up to the fact that the recycling bin and the shameful state of it is all my own work. Graham Triplex is saying, when is midweek, John? Wednesday. Yes. Well, you know, as I've just said, Monday to Thursday, it's Vimto for me. You know, I even pretend that it's beer. I drink it out of a pint pot as well. What else have I missed in the chat? Peter Hall saying flake, Carlsberg flake. Does it even froth? I've got to tell you that this stainless steel liner in this kind of tankard here does tend to inhibit the frothier excesses. What else have we got to talk about? Jay Aoyong saying, a gentle reminder to toss a few quid into the Ultra Strat Fund. Yeah, I was going to mention that anyway, but thank you for the reminder. Let me go and grab the link. I am, at the moment, running a fundraiser to buy a Fender Ultra 2 Strat. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Now, the reason I'm running this fundraiser isn't because I particularly want a Fender Ultra 2 Strat. I'm not really a Strat guy, but I have got that classic Vibe Squire on the back wall there. I've just put the link in the chat, by the way. And, you know, that's essentially kind of pretty close to the bottom rung of the ladder of Fender guitars, and I just want something from the top rung of the ladder so I can do a comparison. And then once said video is done, I'll do like a first impressions video, I'll do a review video of the guitar by itself, and then I'll do a comparison video with the Classic Vibe Squire. And then once I've done the videos, the guitar will go to Zoe's Place Baby Hospice, a charity that I support regularly. The nice lady, Chloe, she's called Chloe from Zoe's Place. Chloe from Zoe's, she just came around this week and picked up a couple of guitars that had been very kindly donated, and the pedal that was donated by none other than Rexomatic, the Not a Dumble pedal. So they're going. I did ask, I always do, can you let me know when the auctions go live so I can publicise the link? And they never ever do, because the people who do the auctions isn't, it's a different person in a different office that does that, and things get lost between Peter and Paul, as it were. Blue Sofa Songs is singing, glad to know I'm not the only one to do the walk of shame to the recycle bins on Monday morning. Yorkshire Rose flag is upside down, mate. Pointy thing at the bottom. Okay, I did not know that. Well, that is, I shall have to amend that. But I just went with the fact that the kind of hanging side, or the bit that attaches to the flagpole, is usually on the left of the flag, and that's how I hung it. I shall have to look into that. Thank you for the tip. Right, what else we got to talk? Rent to Kill is in. You've lost your crown, mate, haven't you? You're normally kind of there as soon as I put the stream up, about 3 o'clock. Danny Thompson has died, and wasn't he the guy who played double bass and played on a lot of countless records? But I remember a really great interview with him in Guitarist magazine many years ago. Sad to hear, he was no spring chicken then, though. So I don't know how old he was, but sad to see him go. Dr. Gomez is saying, better still, put up a red rose. No, never a red rose. I'm a Yorkshireman through and through. There you go. Doc Alders is saying, a petal should be at the top for the North and West ridings and the pointy thing at the top for the East riding. Okay, I'm going to look into that. I mean, it's only held up with blue tack, so it is the work of moments to swap it over. Anyway, I've got a lot to get through tonight, so we've done the Strat fundraiser plug. I just want to give a plug to try and generate a little bit of traction for the latest book, the How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar. Yes, let's try and shift a few of those if we could. It's a fine work, and it's those of you who regularly log on to my Patreon know that there is a discount there. I won't put the discount code in here because it's only for the Patreon subscribers. I know many of you are Patreon subscribers, but How to Play Melodic Rock Lead Guitar, the link to that is in the chat as well. Go and buy a copy. It'll make you incredibly happy. You'll be able to play melodic rock lead guitar, and who doesn't want to do that? And even if you think, well, my chops are pretty good, there's bound to be some stuff in there that you don't know. And, it's just blowing my own trumpet for a little bit. It is a fantastically comprehensive guide. Support the channel, buy a copy of the book, and make a fat, bald man very happy. Thank you very much. Right. I think it's about time we took a look at some pictures from last weekend. So some of these were pictures I took. Some of them are pictures taken by Rex. Some of them are taken by Anton. And I think we will start with, let's have a wee look here. Now, why isn't... Oh, there it is. I think we'll start with this one. Let's have a look at the entire crew here. Going along the front row to begin with, there's Craig Stamen. I knew Craig when he used to have hair, and he knew me when I used to have hair as well. There's Valerie there. That is Mrs. Rexomatic. And there's none other than Doc Alders and his good lady Helen, Mrs. Doc Alders. There's Anton right there. A chap who we don't see in the chat very often because I can't remember if he said, because there was beer involved, as you can tell. I can't remember whether he said he often just lurks in the chat or he watches on catch up, but that is Doug Manuel, charming bloke from Edinburgh. And, even the fact, I'll tell you how nice a guy he is. On the Saturday, we had a day out at a local music shop, a rather soggy, wet, damp day out, it has to be said. And Doug had to shoot off before we went for lunch, and he gave us some money to put towards lunch, even though he wasn't partaking. What a gentleman. There's the legend that is Theme Tunes. Bottleneck Bob is at the back there. There's Mr. Rexomatic right there. And then there's Johnny Random. Sod the photo. I'm having a drink. I'm drinking me beer. And then there's some ugly fat bloke right there in the corner. Who could that be? Then there's Anton and a fat bloke. And then we just started this was in the first hour or so. We're just kind of getting into the swing of things. I'm obviously kind of holding court on something there and delivering some kind of profound, kind of sermon on something or other. And yes, everybody's listening with rapt attention, as you can tell. Then we're just drinking beer and making merry. That was very much the template for the weekend. And then the empties start to pile up. You can see what kind of weekend it was with, the state that the tables were in. We were actually, we started off in the main part of the pub, and then the landlady, bless her, she says, would you like to go into the back room where you've got all the room to yourselves? In other words, you're making too much noise and you're upsetting the regulars. So we were shuffled off into the back room, and as you can see, the state of the tables was, it kind of set the tone. And there we all are again. There's the crew again. Johnny Random's hiding behind my bingo wings there. And there's Rex and a fat bloke again. That fat bloke gets everywhere, doesn't he? And there's Craig. As I say, I knew Craig when he used to have hair. He came to me for lessons when he was a schoolboy. And that makes me feel very, very, very old. And what a player he is these days. And the Three Stooges, Fat Bloke, Johnny Random, and Theme Tunes. And there's a little bit of female bonding there between Mrs. Rexomatic and Mrs. Doc Alders. And, very, very long-suffering ladies that night. It was all a bunch of middle-aged blokes talking about guitars, and I think they just sought solace in one another. While we were all talking about Alnico pickups versus ceramic, and and rosewood fretboards versus maple, and so on. I think they bonded over that. There's Craig showing off his Agrajag guitar that he's just had built, or showing a picture of it anyway. And here we all are in the legendary venue that is Bengal Spice. I think we'd just kind of ordered the starters at that point then. And after this, it did get a little bit looser, shall we say. Yes, there is, Rex took some video of speaking to. I've got about a 30-minute video of clips that Rex sent me. I might put them up on the channel, but it is, as I say, about 30 minutes. And it's full of sort of background noise from the pub and everything. But if you want me to put it up, let me know, and I will. And I appear at the end of it in a rather, shall we say, tired and emotional, refreshed state. I don't think I showed myself up at all, but you can tell that I'd had a few sherbets. Anyway, that is a brief summary of the weekend. So there you go. Yes, a fine time was had by all, it has to be said. Anyway, the title of the live stream tonight is live beer drinking and guitar unboxing. So shall we get the guitar unboxing out of the way? That generous to a fault chap, Jim, who sent me the vintage guitar that you can see on the wall back there, just because he likes what I do on the channel, and the vintage guitar that you can't see that's on the stand in the corner there, basically a Telecaster style guitar in the same colour. Well, he's only been and gone and done it again, hasn't he? He sent me another guitar. I have no idea what it is. He did email me to say, did you get the guitar? And I said yes, but I don't want to know anything about it because I want to be genuinely surprised when I unbox it on the live stream. So, yes. Toeman boxes can be very confusing. You forget that unlike most other guitar boxes, they don't open along that edge, they open along the long edge. So, there we go. That's it. I literally have no idea what's in this box. I just know that Jim is a massively generous chap who just, out of the goodness of his heart, sends me guitars. So we've got some bubble wrap there. Paper packing. What's going on in here then? It's a Sire Larry Carlton box. Is that a clue to what's inside? A little box of bits and pieces here. A letter from Jim. Let's have a look. Hello, John. About 7 months ago on one of your live streams, you showed the viewers guitars. One of them was mine. J&D Telly with the Charlie Christian style neck pickup. And you said you would like to scratch that itch sometime. Well, my intention was to send you the same model at some stage, but alas, they are now discontinued. So instead, I've sent you the Sire T3, along with 2 pickups, which I know you would like to, you will be able to install yourself. The only snag is that the neck cavity will require extra routing for the installation. Also, you'll find you'll need to fit the new jack socket output unit as the original one isn't working. Either that or someone has the wiring all wrong, because upon receiving the guitar, all I did was tune it, and when I plugged it in for testing, there was no sound at all. I then realized that the jack socket was very loose, so I removed it and tightened up the nut, which I assumed was the problem. But again, there was no sound, so I assumed the unit was faulty and purchased a new one, although there was no sound. I was able to check the DC resistance readings in the 3 positions. Each one read exactly the same, 297.4. Yeah, that's not a proper reading for a pickup, is it? When I know there should be around 6.8k ohms and etc. etc. So it looks like the Sire's QC has slipped up badly there, which is a bit disappointing. I'm sorry, John, for leaving this work for you. You've sent me a free guitar and you're apologising that I might have to do a bit of tinkering on it. Jim, just don't worry about it, mate. Where are we? I'm sorry, John, for leaving this work for you to do, but I haven't any idea how to check wiring or solder, etc. I would have done it before sending you the guitar, and I'm sure I know you will like modding anyhow. There again, you could always leave it with the James gang at AgriJag to sort it out, whether you decide to, John. I hope you like the guitar. Cheers. P.S. I love your new guitar, and Gloria's too. Well, thank you. So we know what it is now. It's a Sire Larry Carlton T3. In need of a little bit of love and attention. But let's take a look at it, and let's get this out where, yeah, that's, spoke wheel, truss rod adjuster. Nice. Here we go. Once again in the similar kind of shade of Sonic Blue. There we go. The Sire Larry Carlton T3. They've just done a relaunch of these, haven't they? Where they've, kind of, I think the 7 series, the T7 and the S7 have got stainless steel frets now. But yeah, lovely little kind of Sonic Blue Telly style guitar, rolled fretboard edges because it's a Sire, and beautiful, and recessed neck, heel, and everything. Let's have a look at the pickups that Jim has sent. Let's park you up there for the moment. And yes, Jim sent some pickups. So let's have a look in here. We've got, what's that? That looks like it's just the output jack. And we've got a Roswell Charlie Christian style pickup. You can't really see inside there, but you can tell it is a Charlie Christian style pickup. And what's this back here? We've got it says on the box, tele output jack unit, Roswell TSTP. So this is a Roswell Alnico 5 bridge pickup and a Roswell Charlie Christian Alnico 3 pickup. Routing required. Yeah, well, if there's routing required, then that will, there's no way these fists of ham and fingers of butter are going anywhere near that. That will be, I shall employ somebody that doesn't, that isn't a clumsy oaf to get to take care of that. Let me just get these boxes out there. There we go. Jim, thank you. You are an absolute legend. Thank you so much. That is massively generous of you. You've sent me 4 guitars now. There was the vintage V6 that got lost and then turned up again. That's one of the guitars that a nice lady from Zoe's place came and picked up. And because that one got lost, before it turned up again, you sent me another vintage V6. And that's the one you can see on the wall behind me. And before that, you'd sent me a vintage V75 Telecaster, very much like that one. And now you've sent me that Sire guitar. Jim, you are, I am utterly gobsmacked and blown away by your generosity, Jim. I hope you're watching this. I don't usually see you in the chat. I hope you're watching on catch up. It's mind-boggling, it's staggering, and it's humbling, and it is just completely blowing me away. I'm trying not to be lost for words here, because when you're talking on a live stream or something like that, it's dead air is the one sin that you should never commit. But that is just incredibly generous of you, Jim. I am speechless. I'm just babbling here to cover the fact. Thank you so much, mate. Anyway, time for more beer. Oh, dear me. Right, where's the other? Oh, there they are. Time for a refill. Time for more beer. I haven't forgotten the viewers' guitars pictures. We're going to be getting into that in a second, but I've been neglecting the chat, so I'm going to have a little bit of a scoot through that. I should really kind of have an intern or something, shouldn't I? Just some little lackey that can that can keep an eye on things, like Rick Beato with his Santa's little helpers that keep an eye on things. Anyway, let's have a wee look. Jimmy James is saying this one is a real treat from Jim with the Charlie Christian pickup. Indeed, it is. If there's routing required, and even worse than doing the routing on the wood is if you've ever, like I have, tried to cut pick guard material, scratch plate material. It is hideously difficult. It's just ridiculously difficult to cut and make a decent job of it. So just the very fact that has to be done to install a new pickup means that I won't be doing it. It's going to have to go to James at AgraJag, and I'll join his waiting list to get that done. Let's have a look. Peter Hall saying it's a gift for music jazz master. No, that would be a cruel punishment. Craig Stamen saying it was a fantastic night. Indeed, it was, Craig. Chip Young, it's John's guilty pleasure, a jazz master. What I thought it was when the box turned up was the Milehouse Studios pallet wood guitar, because I know that's turning up at some point. I don't know when, and I simply wasn't expecting that. I was up here, I think, tabbing out a piece of music for an upcoming video, and I'd heard the doorbell go. I'd heard the dog barking at the doorbell, and I just thought, oh, it'll be the missus. She's ordered something, and then I just heard the holler come up the stairs. John, there's a guitar here for you. What have you bought? I see we've got some more super chats coming. I do apologise, I missed these. First of all, we've got Peter Williamson chucking a £5 in the tip jar. Thank you so much, Peter. That is much appreciated. And then Jimmy James, routing fund for the Charlie Christian. Thank you so much, mate. That is very, very generous of you. I wouldn't care. I've been thinning out the collection a little bit lately. There are 3 guitars that have left the building in recent weeks. Just mainly because I had to replenish the savings account to pay for the telegib. But now it's kind of getting topped back up again. The guitar collection, that is, not the savings account. Right, what else have I missed? Vincent Brennan saying, "Yep, post vid, please." If I will do. I mean, a massive thank you to Rex for he went above and beyond the call of duty. With the camera work over the couple of days that we had together. I said, well, it was. We as I said, we met up at 5 o'clock in the pub, and then went to the curry house after that, and then we dragged our hungover, sorry kind of carcasses out for a hair of the dog the following day, and then a trip to a guitar shop. And then I want to just say a big shout out, actually, here. This isn't a sponsored video. I want to say a big shout out to not only the Gypsy Rover in Redcar and the Bengal Spice Indian restaurant, but to the Cocoa and Rum Bistro in Saltburn, where we had a splendid bit of lunch, and Doc Alders picked up the tab for that. Thank you so much, mate. That was very generous for you. Malcolm Spillett saying, "John, what are savings?" Yes. I will make no comment at all, because that could take us very dangerously into the question of of what certain political people are doing to the value of savings. But I'm not going to get into that. Right. Anyway, what I am going to do is take a look at this week's viewers' guitars selection. So in that folder there's that folder, and in that folder there's that folder, and in that folder there's some pictures. So let's bring this back and share the screen again. Here we go, share screen, and starting off with a brand that I've got a little bit of latent curiosity about, actually. Heartwood. This is one of the, shall we call this the more upmarket in-house brand from Gear for Music. And this is I don't normally kind of go for single pickup guitars, but this has a certain kind of style to it, doesn't it? This one, a Heartwood something or other. I do apologise, I didn't make a note of the model name, but that just looks like a proper rock and roll beast, doesn't it? Heartwood also do a copy of the Duesenberg Mike Campbell signature, which certainly looks the part. And I played the Duesenberg Star Player, and the only criticism I had about that guitar was it just felt a little bit. I didn't kind of feel a connection with it. I don't want to say anything critical of it, because there's nothing to criticise about such a fantastically built instrument. But I just didn't bond with it. But it was a superb instrument. I'm curious about checking out the Heartwood copy of it, and this is pretty much it, but minus some pickups and some stripes. Then what happened there? Where did we go? Then we need to zoom in a little bit on this. This is Bob Smith's Fender cab, I believe. I'm not sure if it's an amp or a cab, but I do say send me some pictures of whatever it is you use to play, write, record, and just make a general unholy, glorious racket with guitar on. And this is the picture that Bob Smith sent me of. I've got to assume it's a speaker cab with a statue of Buddha on top. Then we've got Bob's Gretsch guitar, lovely looking. I want to love Gretsch guitars because I'm Brian Setzer and the whole Stray Cats thing, and all of that early 80s rockabilly kind of craze that was going on in Britain. The Polecats, remember them? That was another band. And who remembers Jump the Broomstick by Coast to Coast? Do you remember them? Or Do the Hucklebuck? Yes, it was quite the thing back then. And all of these bands played big old Gretches. And I've never found one that I've really connected with. But there's still time, I guess. This is Bruce's Tattycaster, as he calls it, a kit guitar. And he's made a pretty fine job of putting that together. Has anybody see the Milehouse video today where he was starting up putting a kit guitar together? I used to have a real hankering to do a kit guitar. Then I realised I'm just too ham-fisted, too butterfingered, and more importantly than anything else, I'm too bloody idle to have a go at it. I'd rather just, give it to... There's no way I could put a guitar together the way that James at Agrajag does. So, and there's no way I wouldn't end up stabbing myself, burning myself, and ending up swearing and bleeding on it and just kind of getting frustrated. So I'll stick to playing the guitars, I think. I'll leave the building them to somebody else. But I applaud you for putting that together, mate. That looks properly nice. Well done. And presumably that's a headstock shape that you've cut out, because when you buy a kit guitar, it just comes with like the paddle headstock, doesn't it? So you made a proper nice job of that, mate. Well done. Now, this guitar has a bit of a story. This one's going to be heading up to Robson Towers at some point. David Roberts commissioned a Chinese builder called, I believe it's pronounced Cathy Zhong, to build a guitar. And, well, let's just say the results were mixed when I saw some of the close-ups of the final build. But long story short, this ended up being something of a freebie for David Roberts, so you don't really mind too much. Apparently, there are these places where you can. I guess it's the same people that knock out kind of Gibson copies, the infamous Chibsons. They will build stuff to order, and this is what David Roberts got. And as I say, it certainly looks the part, kind of like a. It's got a whiff of the PRS about it, hasn't it? But it's not a PRS copy, especially with the, oh dear me, is that an open book headstock? That could get you into trouble with somebody's, copyright lawyers, couldn't it? But lovely looking guitar. I'm looking forward to trying that one when it finally makes its way to Robson Towers. And David Sotheby's beautiful Pelham Blue Epiphone SG. Something about Pelham Blue that I just... Normally, I like to see the wood grain on a guitar. Normally, I like to see the kind of the timber. But Pelham Blue, there's just something cool about it, isn't there? And that's a properly nice-looking guitar, it has to be said. I am moderately gassing for an SG at the moment, but we'll see how that pans out. It's getting close to the end of the year, and what happens at the beginning of the next year is the tax bill comes in, so I wouldn't expect to see any new purchases on the channel before that's out of the way. And we've seen this chap before, haven't we? Len McIver. This is Len with his first decent guitar, an ES330, circa 1972. Looks like he's got his best bib and tucker on there for playing some weddings or function or social club gig or that kind of thing. Nothing like playing with your first proper guitar. That's going to be probably a video. I've just had an idea. What was your first good guitar? And did that become the guitar that you subsequently stuck with? Or did you kind of realize that, maybe your kind of destiny lay elsewhere with a different model? But that's a nice looking guitar, nice bit of nostalgia there, Len. Thank you so much. Then Mr. Chris has also recently got a Gretsch. This is his 5282 in Midnight Sapphire. As we all know, Mr. Chris is a southpaw, and he regularly sends pictures for the lefties in the audience, in the viewership, and curious thing, I don't think there's any such thing as a left-handed piano. I might be wrong. So I'm not, this isn't me having a go. I'm just curious as to why left-handed people play left-handed. Why don't you just play right-handed from the outset? And because if you think about it, all of your speed and dexterity and kind of everything is already in the hand that's doing all the kind of fretwork and everything. So surely that would be an advantage, wouldn't it? Mark Knopfler is left-handed in everyday life, but plays right-handed. There's a bit of trivia for you. And this time we've got theme tunes. This is his Sonic Ache silent guitar. Apparently it's not called that because Yamaha own that particular branding, but it's basically a copy of that. Apparently you plug it in and it sounds like a properly big, nice, kind of Martin or J200 or whatever. There's a bunch of different models on it, and great for practice and great for recording, I should imagine, as well. And as you can see, Theme Tunes obviously has recording going on there, because we can see some better studio monitors than I've got, mate. You're giving me monitor envy. And this is, we don't see him in the chat very often, but this is one of the stalwarts of the Tier 2 twice monthly Zoom chat, Tony, Scandinavian chap, and he's building a studio in his basement, and this every now and again he sends us progress reports, and this is what it currently looks like. It's under construction, but Tony quite likes making a lot of noise, as you can tell. A man after my own heart. Marshall, orange, I guess Fender, and another Fender Tweed amp there of some description. Yes, but they're all outnumbered by the Marshalls, aren't they? You can't beat a bit of Marshall. Speaking of which, Marshall, I have a pedal that's going to be coming up on the channel very soon. Want to say a massive thank you to a chap who goes by Mississippi Blues for sending me this. I've been dying to try one of these out for some time. The UA Lion pedal. I've got the TC Electronic Jims 45, which is an excellent Marshall in a box, but this looks like it's got quite a bit more going on, and I'm dying to try it out. But I get the feeling that it is going to involve reading the manual, which, yeah. I'm just going to plug it in and have a play with it at some point, and then consult the manual when I get stuck. So that will be, something that I'm currently working at about 6 weeks lead time for videos. Videos that I'm making now, let me just have a wee look. Let me just have a look at my video schedule. Here it is. I'm currently, I've just finished videos for the week commencing the 3rd of November. I've got one tab to finish off for that week, and then that week is boxed off. And then this coming week, I'm going to be doing videos for the week commencing the 10th of November. And all of those are already kind of scheduled and everything, and I've got those. So it's going to be The week after that, probably, when the Lion pedal makes its debut on the channel. So, I do apologise, but I mentioned stuff on the live stream which is sort of in real time, and then you got to wait weeks and weeks. Like, it's going to be weeks and weeks and weeks. Hopefully, I'll have time to get that Sire guitar fettled and sorted out. I'm definitely going to do a review of that guitar in its current state. Well, not its current state. It needs fixing first, doesn't it? And then I'll do a review of it once the Charlie Christian pickup has been, put into place and everything. Anyway, more beer. Have we got time to squeeze in a viewer's tale? Yes, we probably have, but I'm going to have a little bit of a look at the chat first because I've been neglecting it this week, haven't I? Let's scroll back up. J. Al Young saying, wow, expensive pedal. It is for a pedal, but, if that is your main sound and that's all you need, then it's worth the investment because it's like, that's your main guitar tone. Cal B saying, on a piano, the left hand is doing the bass lines, the equivalent of strumming. Indeed, I suppose. Sometimes dim, never thin. Nice to see you, mate. I forgot to read you out earlier. Wilco Johnson was a lefty that had to switch to right as he couldn't play left. I did hear that, and I don't know how true this is because, to my shame, I've been sent this book here, White Knuckles, The Life and Music of Gary Moore, but I haven't had a chance to read it yet. It's what I'm probably going to do is wait till Christmas and get me head into that book because it's the only time I have the time to sit down and kind of get me head into a book. But I did hear a rumor that the great Gary was a lefty in everyday life, wrote left-handed, and all of that sort of stuff. But he played right-handed. What we're saying there, mate? El Duderino. Well, nice to see you, mate. Just found and subbed. Caught alive already. Cheers. Well, nice to have you on board, mate. I hope you've got a beer. Wherever you are in the world, just remember it's 5 o'clock somewhere, or nearly 10 to 6 now. It's time for a beer. Craig Stamen, I've still got my first good guitar, the heavy metal Strat. I love the guitar, but the Carla Trem is the work of the devil. Yes. Where did you get that heavy metal Strat, Craig? Yes. I might have sold that to Craig back in the day. That was my first good guitar, actually. So we share the first good guitar. I'd had Squiers. The Squiers are good guitars, aren't they? But the first kind of prestige, the first guitar where it said Fender on the headstock was a neon pink Fender heavy metal Strat, a 1989 model, and yes, it was just. I mean, I was like a dog with two tails when I got it because finally I owned a Fender. I think I ended up putting EMG pickups in it, and and then I ended up selling it to Craig. And yes, we both have the same feelings about the Carla Spider Trem. Robin Fawcett saying, I don't think there's any left-handed fiddles. Mr. Chris plays piano too. Do you play a right-handed piano, mate? Let's look. What else have I missed? Gary Moore, indeed, says Dr. Gomez was a lefty and played right-handed. GRB Aquatics is saying, don't need to see the video now, John. Just read us the book. Okay. Right. Anyway, a viewer's tale before we wrap things up for yet another Friday. Let's go into here, viewers' tales. This one comes from a chap called Paul Coleman. And he says, hi, John. In the 90s, I was playing guitar in a snotty, scruffy classic rock covers band, been in many of those, in Somerset. We got a bit of a reputation going in the pubs and clubs in the area, and we were invited to play at an outlaw biker festival near Pewsey. The money was bloody good, I have to say. Otherwise, I think we might have given it the swerve. These guys were the real deal, and although they looked after us well, to be fair, there was a distinct air of wildness and danger klaxon creeping in around the edges of the time we took to the stage. Beer may have been involved, really. Anyway, as we started to play, the biggest, scariest biker I'd encountered up to that point, a sort of level boss, situated himself directly opposite me. Every time I looked up, he was staring right at me, swaying gently with his arms folded and a studied expression on his face. We ran the first two numbers together as usual, and when we paused for the first time, he shouted at me in the gruffest, huge biker voice you can imagine, "I'm enjoying this." I was so relieved that I shouted back, "So am I," except it came out in a shrill, thin squeal like a tiny piglet being slaughtered. It was because I'd been so nervous, I didn't look up again for the rest of the gig, Paul. Yeah, I have a similar story. That's a brilliant story, mate. I have a similar story, right? You know, when you're a kid, you go through various phases and you're kind of mad keen on one thing and then you're mad keen on another, and then eventually you settle on something. For me, it was playing the guitar. Well, about two kind of phases that I went through before the guitar was the thing I was mad keen on. It was motorbikes. I had the picture. It was around about the time of Barry Sheen being the kind of the poster boy, the kind of first celebrity sportsman that wasn't a footballer, really. Anyway, I pestered me parents that could we go to the motorbike show, which was in a building that's no longer there now, Earl's Court in London, and there was talk of us going to London for a weekend break anyway. So, you know, my parents relented, and I got my wish to go to the motorbike show at Earl's Court in London. I was probably about 9 years old, right? And on the tube, on the London Underground, every stop that you got closer to Earl's Court, more of these kind of tattooed, grisly bikers, Hell's Angels colours on them and everything, were getting onto the tube to go. And my mother was, my dad didn't really care. My mother was kind of starting to get a bit flappy. And when we got there, they were absolute gentlemen. You know, they were kind of escorting, you know, does he want to sit on that Goldwing? Does he want to sit on that Harley Davidson? Does he? Let's. Do you want me to take a photo of him with you? They were absolutely golden, you know. And the biggest, gruffest, hairiest, nastiest villains, basically, that they looked after a little 9-year-old me like they were my beloved uncles. And after that day, my mother would never have a bad word said about hairy bikers. So there you go. Dr. Gomez, what is saying, is Earl's Court no longer there? No, mate, it was demolished a few years ago. So El Duderino saying great story. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I've got vivid. There's probably some Polaroids of that happening somewhere. I'll have to dig through the old family photo albums. Anyway, chaps, we're 59 minutes plus change into the stream, and I've got a curry waiting downstairs for me, and I'm starting to get a bit peckish. So we're going to wrap things up there. Thank you once again, especially to everyone who turned up last week and travelled inordinate distances to come and have a beer with a bald fat bloke from out in the sticks. It was a great weekend. We will do it again sometime, and thank you to all of you for turning up and giving up an hour of your Friday evening or whatever time it is on a Friday with you to listen to a fat bald bloke drink beer and talk absolute bollocks for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.